To the Farmington Town Board meeting. We're starting a little late because of our workshop with the Mountain Park Commission. For the first thing tonight, we do have a public hearing. I'll ask the town clerk to read the notice, legal notice.
Please take notice the Farmington Town Board will hold a public hearing on May 24th, 22 at 7 p.m. at the Farmington Town Hall, 1000 County Road 8, Farmington, New York, 14425, to consider a proposed local law entitled a local law amending Chapter 165, Article 2, Terminology, Section 10, Definitions, Chapter 165-43, Article 5, Supplementary Regulations, Section 43B, General Requirements for erecting and maintaining commercial speech signs, and Chapter 165-58, Article 5, Supplementary Regulations, Section 58, Accessory Structures, and Chapter 165, Article 6, Special Permit Uses, Section 84.1, Mini warehouses, sites of the Code of Town of Farmington. Any resident of the Town of Farmington shall be entitled to be heard on this matter at such public hearing. A copy of the draft local law is available for public inspection in person at the Town Hall or on the Town Hall's website.
Good thing we don't pay by the word. Staff, Dan or Ron, want to give us an idea of the work that put into this?
Well, this is all Dan's idea.
No, I mean, this is a local law that Ron and I worked on many hours. We've gone in front of our planning board with their input on the mini storage. It's where a lot of this is driving from. There is some other things in there about commercial speech signs that were left out of the code that we needed to adjust. And then the last part of it was the accessory structures. We just modifying in terms for a shed and the allowed sizes of a shed.
And going back to my zoning board days, this should be less work for the zoning board because you've increased the size of the accessory structure allowed, so that fewer people will have to go to the zoning board of appeals because of the sizes they want.
Well, all the way around. I mean, not just the accessory structures, but the mini storage and the commercial speech, and should help not go to the ZBA. I mean, I think that the code is written very well, that it's proposed. Like I said, there was a lot of man hours put into this one, a lot of back and forth. Planning board had a lot of input, and ZBA did review it as well. And I think that from all that staff hours, I think you have a good presentation of some code updates for you.
But not just those boards, because we had the issue with the shed and then some zoning, where it was what, 210 square feet. And he had to come to us and we had to pass a new local law to allow 210 foot sheds, 10 feet over.
Yes, the sheds are big enough.
Well,
It's selling the bigger ones now.
it really is, and we're seeing a lot more sheds that are multiple use too. I mean, it's half of it's storage, half of it's a play set. And I mean,
It's got the pool pump system inside of it or whatever.
and the
Yeah.
code was written so that you couldn't park like a vehicle in there, and that's why the 200 square feet was from.
Right.
Well, we're not seeing that used. We're just seeing that people need a little bit more space.
Okay.
Yeah, just to build on what Dan said, the existing regulations have been on the books now since 2010, 2011. Over those 10, 11, 12 years, there's been a number of innovations made in the storage business. You're seeing more conditioned buildings, climate control, they'd like to refer to them as. We do not currently separate or distinguish between conditioned and unconditioned buildings. You're also seeing a surge as a result of this crazy housing market that we're living in, of people tempted to sell and then realizing they've got all this stuff, where do they put it? Well, they're trying to find another house to locate to. The other thing is that some of the stuff that we've had in there for years has worked well. We've not had any issues with concentration of mini warehouse facilities in certain areas. We've maintained the separation. That's worked well. We see that most of the mini warehouse units that we have are either in the LI or the GI district where they traditionally should be. There's one exception over on 96 at the town line there that exists, but that's been a good neighbor. There's been no complaints about it. And they recently have taken one of their unconditioned units and converted it into a conditioned facility. So it's a no-brainer. Once it gets up and operational, it's like a cash cow to the landlord. You know, it's just getting the right regulations in place and getting the right standards for the planning board to deal with is what this is all about.
Okay, thanks. What are the questions? Anybody from the public? Any questions on the local law?
I will say one more thing, Peter, for the public record. This was reviewed by the county planning board. There was a note comment in the records that was made by the county planner that other municipalities ought to look at some of these regulations that we're proposing, because this issue isn't just unique to Farmington. There's other communities in the county that are having this issue, and call out Farmington to distinguish us as being a model. I think speaks highly everybody's input here tonight.
All right, thanks. Anybody online have a question or a comment?
I don't see anything else.
Nothing online. Okay, I want to close the public hearing. We'll call the regular meeting to order and pledge allegiance. Dave Herman, you're new here, so you can lead us in the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Make sure to get Bill. All right, Ron Herding is necessarily absent town this week. Next thing on the agenda is approval of the minutes for May 10th meeting. Motion second, any comments, corrections? All in favor? Aye. Privilege of the floor or public concerns? Any privilege of the floor, public concerns? Anybody online? Privilege of the floor or public concerns? Okay, thank you. Reports of standing committees, public works.
Yeah, we have a lengthy meeting this morning. On the water and sewer side, we've talked a lot about digester one over the last few meetings. Can report that the company has finished the cleaning of digester one. Right now we've got one pump out for repair, we have a heat exchange pump that we're looking at pricing for, and then there's a wall repair that needs to be done. And that digester will be finally be brought back online. Trojan, which is the manufacturer of our UV disinfectant system down there, we're scheduled to be on site the 25th of this month to get their repair work done before we get that fired up for the season. Send out oxygen sensors in the inflow building. They send one out to get calibrated, and when that gets back, they'll send the other one out. And we reported on some damage to our one hydrodyne screen. Again, in the influent building, brushes in the auger on that have been repaired due to some damage created by a co-feeder coming into the machine. Water main replacement at 332 and 96. They've had the pre-construction meeting. Everything went well. That'll be a lengthy project. Drilling under 96 and 332 just because they're going through rock there, so there'll be activity at that intersection most of the summer. New York fence, we've talked about them a lot. They have got posts finally in for the new gate. Just waiting on the concrete to cure, and we'll be back to get the new gate installed. Did an inspection on our main interceptor line, one of them for the super system. And we've got 4 resolutions on the agenda tonight that we can discuss as they come up later in the agenda. Highway and parks, a lot of ongoing equipment maintenance, mowing, they got 332, I believe, finished, 332 done today. Finished today. Loomis Road got paved, it looks very nice. And they've been over on Canada Farmington Town Line Road, working there as well. Parks, obviously ongoing mowing nonstop, striping fields. Beaver Creek Park, they did get the court striped for pickleball. And also had a drainage line clog at Pumpkin Park that they had to dig up and clear out about 40 feet of pipe due to tree roots getting into there. On the building side, some fire alarm testing, yearly HVAC maintenance done, and just talking about carpet cleaning, which is upcoming here at the town hall, and also the court. And it says 1 resolution, but there's a second resolution to hire a new employee, and 1 to buy a new truck, which hopefully we approve it tonight. We'll see it by the end of next year. Hopefully.
Yeah, it'll be 2024, hopefully we get 2023.
That's all I got.
Thanks, Steve. On operations.
Collaboration with this morning, we have 4 resolutions we can discuss as they come up. Staff continues to work on the updated chapter 74 from the town code that was requested from New York State. Delaware River Solar, the appeals period that they had for the lawsuit ended last week, and there was no extension or notice of appeal from the litigants. So I think that part is done and site work has begun.
Let's have a round of applause, all right?
Only you can take our time on this project that started 4 years ago. We're still waiting the traffic report concerning the Farmington Market Center to kind of figure out basically the everyone's share of the installation of a signalized light on Route 96. So trying to figure out exactly what kind of traffic all the properties that will be affected by that would be creating. Still no word on the TAP grant. I'm not sure what's going on with that. New York State, the DOT should be posting the sign along Route 332 for no standing or no parking on the side of the road. Hopefully those go up because it's pretty frequent we see the tractor trailers parked there, especially south of like the Dunkin' Donuts or KFC Plaza. They can't hold their trucks in there, so they stop them and get food, and it's a hazard for anybody trying to leave that plaza. A couple of fire calls that Dan can discuss. Anything else to be on file?
Thanks, Hank. Reports of other town officials, supervisor. Just a reminder, this Memorial Day, we will have a ceremony at 9 a.m. at North Farmington Cemetery on Sheldon Road. Do that every year. Everybody's invited. It lasts about 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. Councilman Cassell and I met with Supervisor Marin and the leadership of Victor Farmington Ambulance Corps today. We discussed the accomplishments that the Ambulance Corps has had so far in 2022, and how busy they are. And our goals, given both towns giving them money, was to retain employees, hire more employees, raising the wage, and also increasing the ambulance coverage for the 2 towns. So we got a little feedback on that, and we set future dates for 2023 budget decisions. Our first meeting is in early August, and then they'll come to a joint Victor Farmington Town Board meeting for budget discussion in September. On the finance side, we haven't got the check yet, but the county sent out the mortgage tax receipt for the first payment of the 2 we get during the year. It's estimated to be $254,789. It's $193,453 less than last year, but it's $64,545 and change more than in 2020. Across New York State, it is estimated that the sales tax is still up 16% over the same time in 2021, as the state comptroller reported. So one last thing that I got at the last minute, our assessor's aide sent me the April sales. I'm going to read about a half dozen of them off here, and we'll put this probably in the newsletter. 166 Mulberry Drive, right around the corner from me. In fact, one of the guys on the Board of Assessment Review lives up in that neighborhood, and he told me the house went for 360, and I'm like, no way. Well, guess what? It was assessed at 197.7 and sold for $360,000. Crazy. Rossler Road, Mike's Way, and our former assessor lives out that direction. Assessed at 137.2, sold for $342,000. Jensen Court, up your way. Assessed at 250, sold for 369.9. Go Haven, and Buckskin Drive, almost identical sales. Both were assessed at 172,000, 172,500. One sold for 264,000, one sold for 263,000. Con Lake Drive, townhomes in there, 162,000 and sold for 210,000. Osborne Lane, it was assessed at 383. It must have been one of the very first houses in Osborne that they resold, but the new sale price is 437,000. And the last one, Clover Meadow Lane, which is in Farmington, 155,000 assessed value, sold for 280. So, and that's April. I've been reporting them since last November. It's absolutely crazy. So that's all I have. Highway and Parks.
Not much more. I did, we wanted to let me know that we have been mowing the trails up there, Auburn Meadow Trails. The mow, we did do Hickory Rise this afternoon. I don't know if anybody noticed over the weekend, but George Smith, who was a state fire inspector or instructor, I'm sorry, was out doing some training on our ponds and our highway on Sunday. Practicing and showing how to draft off the pond and how to use the dry hydrant. So he was very appreciative of that. And it's done it before and it worked out well this time. So
Yeah.
we'll keep allowing them to do it.
Circulate the water, with a little action in it.
What? Yeah, yeah. And they pump from one pond to the other, so they're not turning the ponds, but
Yeah.
not that we need the water in there. I don't even know if the fish are still in there. I did call on the toolkit today. Still waiting on a chip from what he tells me. It's like everything else.
The toolcat is a form of a bobcat that we've had on order for a while.
So that's about all I have to report today.
Right, just so we get the word out, does it look like it will be paving on Town Line Road next week?
There will be work going on. They're going to, we need to do a little shimming down by where they put the culvert in. They'll be doing that first, and then some milling we need to do. Paving will actually, right now, they're talking the 6th and the 7th that they're gonna be paving.
Okay.
All next week, there will be some more work going on that road, shimming.
Does the entrance to State Drive get milled
Yes, that's gonna get now.
back in whatever feet?
That's included in that project.
Okay, good. Town clerk.
Just be week, I did a webinar on retirement reporting for the elected officials report. The auditors were here last Thursday as well. I haven't heard back from them yet. And we are currently, my office is working on getting our delinquent dog licensing up to date. That goes back to 2019. So sending out another letter and making calls and seeing if we can get that list cleaned up.
And tomorrow you're hosting a meeting,
And yes, for the County Clerk Association.
Town Clerks Association. Yep. All right, thanks. Water and sewer.
Tim was talking about Town Line Road. We've done the samples on the water line over there today. We'll move it, but they come out tomorrow.
Right.
And then we've got some services to put in there, so hopefully there's a couple of places we're going to be out into the road a little bit. We can get those done before they pay. I really don't want to think of
That's all for sure.
Yeah. Especially on the Fletcher side of the road.
I don't mind.
It's,
It's easier, if it isn't set up, you know. It's like that.
yeah.
Dave gave us the tentative schedule for the 33296 boring in the intersection. It's supposed to start so 6/10/22 for mobilization. Probably won't really get going on it until most of the end of the month.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a long project. They're saying all the way till October.
Yeah, through October, right? Building and zoning.
All right, they said, we were out with the fire department for a couple times over the last 2 weeks. They did have a serious structure fire, over on, Malbar Drive, where the whole unit did burn out. So, we've been assisting them. And then the other big thing we want to report about is that we're actively pursuing contracts for grass mowing, and we're also talking to homeowners and dropping off door hangers that if you're not cutting your grass, if it's longer than 6 inches, it does need to be mowed, and you can't mow and discharge into the roadways. So we're trying to educate and provide that information to everybody.
Yes, we had one resident pretty mad on social media this morning, or this afternoon, because he did get the door hanger.
Sure.
I think your answer didn't go away. All right, thanks. Planning board.
Certainly, our next meeting is June 1st. We have the final 2-lot subdivision for the Farmington estate. Get that taken care of, then we have the preliminary site plan for lot 2 of the cap subdivision on Hook Road. And then we have a final site plan approval for phase 2B, Hathaway Corners Apartments. So that's what's going on there. And just in case people didn't hear, today is grievance day, but our town is doing it tomorrow from 4 to 8. So just to let the public know.
Good point. Yeah. And throughout the state, it's this day unless there's a assessor that does multiple towns, and they reset the schedule. So it's in, like Ed said, it's in Canandaigua with our assessor today, and then tomorrow here from 4 to 8. Ron, Director of Planning and Development.
Yeah, the report to town ops was posted today on the website, updating all of the projects where they're at ongoing. And we look to be having a busy summer with more applications coming. So stay tuned, folks. We'll be back to you with some more updates on zoning regulations. The hot topic now moving is Airbnbs.
Airbnbs. Huh? That'll be interesting. Hey, town engineer.
There's a couple things, like in the 332 and 96 water main, we actually just had a DOT permit for that yesterday as well, so we're ready to go. Manhole rehab, the town's been doing their manhole inspections this year and doing quite a bit of them. And we have a lot of data that we've been using. We're almost through our selection of manholes to be rehabbed this year as part of the project. And then our 332 water main plans, we're just about ready. Just waiting on one more thing to send those back. For plan approvals that are now.
Very good. And like I said, the assessor is in Canandaigua tonight. Be here tomorrow night for any residents want to come in and talk to them. Recreation, Mark was in today and reported that registration's gone very well. He's got, I think, Farmbrook and the town park has like 20, 25 slots left, but the other parks are really, close to maximum number of kids for the 6 week summer rec program. Communications are on file. Reports and minutes are on file, and we'll start with resolutions. First one is a resolution authorizing the adoption of local law number 4 of 2022, entitled Local Law amending Chapter 165, Article 2, terminology, Section 10, definitions 165, Article 5, supplementary regulations, Section 43.b, general requirements for erecting and maintaining commercial speed signs, Chapter 165, Article 5, supplementary regulations, Section 58, accessory structures, and Chapter 165, Article 6, special permit uses, Section 84.1, community warehouse sites of the code of the town of Farmington.
So,
Second.
Moved by Mike, second by Steve. Any other staff comments? All in favor? Aye. Two is a resolution authorizing the earthwork survey final release for Monarch Manor subdivisions phase 2 in $15,950.
so second.
And if you hadn't drove by there, a lot of earth moving that has been done, and most utilities I just know too. Okay, and a motion second. Any other comments? All in favor? Aye. Three is a resolution recalling and amending resolution 163 of 2022, authorizing the town supervisor to sign a contract with Young Explosives for July 3rd fireworks display.
So moved.
Second.
Basically, the Farmington Chamber is donating $1,500, so the contract with Young Explosives has been raised from $4,500 to $6,000 for our July 3rd fireworks. All in favor? Aye. Four is a resolution authorizing the town supervisor to sign a mobile BIOS SCRU demo agreement with VCR Solid Solutions at a cost not to exceed $2,550.
So, second.
Motion is second. We're sharing this with 4 municipalities. The company's coming in, demonstrate their equipment and organized by MRB. And then what the equipment does is demonstrates taking our sludge, or the other 3 municipalities are bringing in some of their sludge, compressing it, treating it, and drying it, and see if it's a piece of equipment that we may want to add to our treatment plant or one of the other 3 municipalities that are going to be. All in favor? Aye. 5 is a resolution creating an accountant 1 position.
So, second.
This is a new position for the town, and this basically lets Ontario County Human Resources know we want to add that position for the town. All in favor? Aye. 6 is a resolution authorizing awarding a bid to Spray in Place Solutions LLC located at 45 Knickerbocker Avenue, Site 1, Bohemian, New York. Zip code 11967. I know they were on the line earlier tonight. They still are. Okay, great. Dave and Lance gave us a short presentation of their company, and we went over the bid in our public works meeting at 7:30 this morning. And Dave and Lance, I don't know if you at this time you have anything else you want to say, or?
Unless you all have any questions of us, I think we're feeling pretty good about the project.
Give you a second.
What project is this for, since it didn't say?
Pardon?
What project is this for again?
Yeah, this is for the Hook Road water line under the thruway.
I guess not.
Okay. Right. So we have a motion and a second. Any
Second.
other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen, for signing in tonight.
Thank you.
Seven is a resolution amending the estimated cost within the 284 highway agreement.
So,
Second.
Motion is second. Every year we do a 284 highway agreement with the highway superintendent and the town board. It takes the money that's in the highway budget and puts it in this agreement so the highway department can spend the money. And then with the additional costs of asphalt and stone, we've had to amend this and move some money around to still have the same project available to them. So that's what we're doing with this resolution. All in favor? Aye. Eighth, resolution authorizing the budget amendment for the highway fund to reflect the 2022-2023 state aid for Pave Our Potholes program.
So. Second.
This is a new program. Instead of adding money to our CHIPS or Pave the Arc program, this is a new program in the state budget, and we received almost $42,000 that we can use for permanent road improvements in the towns. Welcome money. All in favor? Aye. Nine is a resolution authorizing the candidate of Farmington Town Line Road East End 12-inch water main project award, public bidding of the water main fittings and supplies.
so,
Second.
So these parts are replenishing our stock. It was work that we did on Town Line Road that was originally part of the Brickyard Road contract that was not approved by Canandaigua and Farmington for the Brickyard Road tank and the transmission line. However, these parts had to go in Town Line Road before the highway, the town of Canandaigua and the town of Farmington highway departments paved the roads. So that's now ordering a separate bid, replenishing the parts for stock and water and sewer. All in favor? Aye. 10 is a resolution authorizing the candidate of Farmington Water District, town of Farmington for a 2022 annual water supply award, public bidding and water main fittings and supplies.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. It's totaling between the three vendors, totaling a little over $104,000. All in favor? Aye. 11 is a resolution to recall and amend resolution 208 of 2022, authorizing a payment for parts and labor to repair water truck 6 at cost not to exceed $4,030.34.
second.
And it was in the collision shop. They discovered more damage. And so that's why we're changing the resolution. All in favor? Aye. 12 is a confirming resolution authorizing the highway park superintendent to purchase a 2024 International HX 626x4 with lighting equipment from Navistar that costs not to exceed $256,000.
So moved.
Second.
It's up over 20,000 from the last time we bought one.
How much cheaper than a fire truck?
What's that?
Cheaper than a fire
It is. It is.
Yeah.
True.
truck. I don't know about that.
Yeah, less lights.
Yeah, that's it. That's right.
All in favor?
Aye.
And you already got your worksheets on what equipment to put in the 2023 budget. 13, resolution establishing the standard workday and reporting schedule for New York State return.
So,
Second.
Motion second. Comments, questions? All in favor? Aye. 14 is a resolution authorizing the town supervisor to sign proposal with Ruth DeConzio Consulting Engineers for cameras and road sensors as part of our New York Power Authority LED street lighting program.
So.
Second.
So this is, it started when Don Drew was here and it continued when Tim is the superintendent. We're adding 5 cameras, 4 in the corners of the town, 1 at Park and Ride, and then 4 sensors in 4 corners of the town that read the road temperature. So in the winter months, the highway department can hopefully determine snowing in Pumpkin Hook and it's not in the town of the road, he knows how many trucks to call out. And not all 90. Be another tool to use. All in favor? Aye. 15 is abstract number 10 of 2022 to pay bills. General fund, $90,832.26. Highway fund, $22,747.32. Beaver Creek Park, $882.43. Town line capital project, $122.10. Storm drainage, $2,980.01. Lighting district, $1,312.76. Sewer district, $65,063.33. Water district, $19,036.30. Letter of credit, $15,950. Payroll deductions, $7,212.44. For a total abstract, $226,138.95. Motion second.
Second.
Motion second. Any comments, questions, abstentions? All in favor? Aye. We don't have any training under $100. I do have, again, 2 discussions. Unfortunately, our new car wash. Don't know what happens because we mail them the bill and we email them the bill. And they didn't apparently get the bill, so we did get a letter of request for that.
You just build up the other address.
No.
In their response, they acknowledge that they did get the bill from us for their other car wash. So I it's their policy that we don't waive that, but they knew that the water bills were going out. They got
One of the bill should have asked. And they said they really didn't know until we gave the sheriff notice after the county date. So again, we want to follow the same policy we made. We did that for one. So yeah,
We just paid the bill too.
Yep. Second one is Fairdale Townhomes. The past invoices have been mailed to our office manager, who is no longer in the company, and her email had been deactivated in February, therefore we did not receive the invoice prior to the county date. We have sent the payment overnight. As soon as received by now. They've owned Fairdale Townhomes since 2003. Never been late. Like being a part of the community. Again, it's switch office managers and don't tell us. Same consideration in there. Non-waive. All right, we do have an executive session tonight, but we have some waiver of the rules. Any objections? First one is resolution authorizing the highway park superintendent to fill one NEO position in the highway department. And that's at $20 an hour. So, motion second. So we did do a little research. We talked to the individual offered in 1950, but then we realized it was an MEO light position, but we realized they actually got qualified from the county for an MEO position. And so you're going to call him back tomorrow, right? Let him know he gets a 50-cent increase before he even starts work. So,
But do we have to move a civil servant?
no, we haven't light, they're highway, parks, water, and sewer, they're all the same MEO slot. But what Marcy's going to do is go through the complete list, and send them stuff we want to delete, and we probably want fewer MEO lights and labor positions and add some MEO, more MEOs that will be available in the future. So we did add, still had 2 vacant MEOs in the organization. Good question. All in favor? Aye. Second waiver is a resolution waiving the second application fee for final site plan approval, lot R2, Blackwood Industrial Park.
So, second.
Motion second, I assume to discuss the comments. Okay. Again, this project is 2 large warehouses that gone totally through the planning board process, approved, and then county DPW comes and goes, whoa, wait a minute. You want to change some of the drainage. It's on, you know, it was County Road 41 or 8, or 8. Okay, so anyways, the applicant, and we were notified of it. The applicant got the information, they wanted to change it. And so they went back and forth, our engineers reviewed it, approved it. Everybody lost sight of the deadline. And so, again, it did get the county final approval, work good with it. It's just a process that has to go back to the planning board one more time. And don't let Adrian go on it. You know?
Who will override it?
Yeah. So it's an unfortunate thing that it did get past the due deadline and nothing really changed on our end. It was Ontario County. All in favor? Aye. Third waiver is a little longer for me to read. Recall resolution number 153 of 2022 and reclassify proposed rezoning of land action under the provisions of the state environmental quality review regulations for the adoption of local law amending chapter 165 zoning law article 3 section 165.12 zoning map for rezoning 3 parcels of land identified as a tax map account numbers 29.00-1-39, 29.00-1-40, and 29.00-1-41.1 from GB general business to incentive zoning for the Farmington Market Center project.
Second.
Ryan, you want to kind of explain that?
Yeah, the attorney for the Farmington Market Center was reviewing the environmental record that he prepared. And his position is there's the potential for disturbing 10 acres or more of land in his mind associated with this project. As such, it changes the previous classification to a type 1. It also means that they want the matter sent back to the county planning board for its review. And as soon as we get the traffic data from SRF Associates that they have retained to prepare, we'll have a complete application. So the resolution is drafted, just says that upon a complete application, then it gets submitted to the county. We don't know when that will be.
Right. And as a reminder, the public hearing for the incentive zoning of this property is open for a future date.
Right.
For the to continue the public hearing. So that once we get that information sent to the county, get the feedback from the county and staff, and we look at it, and we can open the public hearing back up again. Correct.
Correct.
All right.
The type 1 is a more stringent review than.
Yeah, it requires coordination with other involved agencies. In this instance, the DEC for the sewer, Department of Health for water, DOT for transportation, town highways, water and sewer, and town, all of those agencies bringing forth any concerns or comments that they have.
Okay. Thanks, Ron. Any other questions? All in favor? Aye. Anything else to be brought to this board? Anybody online got any comments and questions and concerns?
It's John Piper.
Okay, anybody in the room? Comments and questions? All right. I need a motion to go into executive session to discuss the medical, financial, credit, or employment history of a particular person or corporation on matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal, or a particular person or corporation. Motion by Mike, second by Nate. We're going to go down the hallway to executive session, and that is all we have left on the agenda. We come back, we'll adjourn the meeting.